Good evening or good morning, mvgcers. Welcome to a new lesson. Today we're going to be covering material starting on page 11 of your handouts. The first section is called Learning New Words by Asking. Sometimes the best way to learn is when you're out and about, and you see something and you don't know what the word is in English and you want to ask someone. So if you want to ask what something right beside you is, you can say, "What's the word for this in English?" And if we look at that sentence, what's, that's short for what is. So I could say, what is the word for this in English? And when I use the word this, I'm speaking about one thing close by. So what's the word for this in English? I can just say, what's the word for this? And it's pretty obvious I'm asking what's the word in English. So I can just say, what's the word for this? And the answer would be, the word for this is pencil, mechanical pencil. If I'm talking about something further away, I would say, what's the word for that in English? That right there. And the answer would be, oh, the word for that is binder. That's a binder. And these words change if we're talking about multiple things, plural, more than one. So, what's the word for these in English? The word for these are pens. What's the word for those in English? Those are binders. So, this, that, these, those. This, that, these, those. I can also say, what's this called in English? What are these called in English? Or, what is that called in English? Or what are those called in English? So that's a couple of different ways you can ask for things, and you have to use the right word if you're asking about one thing, or if you're asking about more than one thing, two or more. The next section, we're also using words where we have to be careful about, are we talking about one? Are we talking about more than one? Are we talking about a number that we know? Are we talking about some amount and we don't know the exact number? So, for example, I can say a banana. That means one banana. Or I can ask about some bananas, or I can talk about some bananas. Some just means some. It means usually means more than one. Sometimes it refers to something that we don't count, like some coffee, some flour, some snow. And notice when we talk about some, we're putting an S at the end of banana, so some bananas. The idea is that it's probably more than one. If we talk about more than one, it's definitely plural, so the next word is 12 bananas. A dozen bananas. A dozen means 12. Half a dozen bananas. Half a dozen is obviously 6. So, a banana. Some bananas. 12 bananas. A dozen bananas. Half a dozen bananas. By the way, when you say a banana, you mean one banana. If you say one banana, you also mean one banana, and you're being more definite about the number. One banana. The next line is similar for apples. An apple. Notice, because apple begins with a vowel, we don't say a apple, we say an apple. A becomes an in front of a vowel, probably because it's easier to say an apple than it is to say a apple. So we have an apple, some apples, a kilo of apples. So we're talking about the weight, a kilo of apples. 10 apples, excuse me. A grape, some grapes, a pineapple, some pineapples, this pineapple. I'm talking about a pineapple right here. Sorry, I don't have one, but this pineapple would mean a pineapple that you're holding or that's close by. These pineapples, there's several pineapples close by. A grapefruit, 6 grapefruits. That grapefruit, you're talking about a grapefruit a distance away, not right with you. And those grapefruits, 2 or more grapefruits that are not right beside you. The next section, a pound of coffee. When we buy coffee in the store, we often buy it by a pound or a kilogram. A cup of coffee. If I'm in a restaurant and I want a coffee, I can say, please bring me a coffee, or you can be more definite. You can say, please bring me a cup of coffee. Please bring me some more coffee. If there's several of you, or you're very thirsty and you really want lots of coffee, you can say, please bring us a pot of coffee. 2 cups of coffee. Works the same with tea. I'd like a tea, or I'd like a cup of tea. I'd like some more tea. We'd like a pot of tea. We'd like 5 cups of tea. And the last section in this part of the lesson, a glass of Coke. So you can say, I want a Coke, I'm having a Coke, or I'm having a glass of Coke. Please bring us 4 Cokes, or please bring us 4 glasses of Coke. Please bring us a glass of beer. If it's a big glass, you might call it with a handle, you might call it a mug of beer. Please bring us 3 beers. Please bring us 3 glasses of beer. Or please bring us 3 mugs of beer. That's it for this particular lesson, and we'll see you in a few minutes with another lesson. See you soon.